Well, we're going to do this kind of, we're going to reverse engineer. We're going to take out the garbage, which is MSU football. We're going to start with that, get it out of the way, because I got to have, Rico's got to have, it's like a sports enema for Rico, because Rico is not an angry person. Rico is not a mean person. Rico's actually one of the nicest and kindest people I know, but he displayed a side of him that I wasn't comfortable with this past weekend with the Michigan State game. So we want to do this. We want to get it out of the way. Rico's going to go outside, puff a heater, and then be able to do the rest of the show. So let's get this out of the way. And as you said, pull the plug on Grandma.
Yeah, Mike, because here's what it was. Everybody just knew that Michigan State was going to go into this game against Indiana, win the game. Indiana's god-awful. Tom Allen's one of the worst coaches in the Big Ten. You had a 31-14 lead. I mean, at this point, I think more MSU folks was watching the Michigan game instead of paying attention to the game on the field because that was more intriguing. And then the next thing you know, you're close to losing. You get it first and goal from the 10 with a minute to go. Okay, panic's over. Tuck, you can't screw this thing up. Oh, wait, you can. They try to center the ball up for a kicker who, let's face it, he misses extra points, Mike. Elijah Collins wanted to go hero ball. He cuts it to the left. The kicker goes out there. They call timeout with 2 seconds left. He misses it. At this point, you're sitting there saying, I can't believe this. It's to the point now where, yes, I wanted to see this team go to a bowl game. I knew it wasn't going to be a sexy one, but you get the extra practices and the players, but with everything going on, Mike, I gotta be honest with you, it got to the point where I felt like this is, let's just call all the family together and say, hey, I know we thought that Grandma was going to pull through because earlier this season it looked bleak. And then all of a sudden, Grandma made a recovery. But now it looks just as bleak. And you call them let's just say our goodbyes. Let's pull the plug. Let's just end this season. But then, Mike, you know what? Here's the thing. Since the last time we talked, last night, I'm reading the stuff. And I got to say, too, I did the podcast with Howard Griffith today. He kind of talked me down off the ledge as well because I was ready for this season to be over. It's not. Even if you want it to be over, it won't be over because Michigan State is like number 2 in the APR ratings of graduate students at 5-7. You're saying, why is that important? There are not enough teams to fill the bowl games, people. They're going to probably have to fill 8 slots. MSU is going to have the opportunity to accept a bowl bid at 5-7 if they walk into Happy Valley and lose. I don't know if I'm comfortable with that. Because I've often said, if you can at least go 6-6, what are you doing? What are we rewarding at this point? You basically, you're now giving out just bowl seats to standby passengers who just happen to be standing right there. Come on, we got to do better than this when it comes to the bowl system. But here's where we are, Mike. They have an opportunity to go 5-8 this year. Don't think that's going to be great. The only thing that Howard said, like, you want the extra practices for the young players. And I'm like, really? Is it that big of a difference? Or do you just hit the reset button for everything that's happened and just wait until next season and start all over in the spring? But, yeah, they're going to get rewarded for going 5-7 regardless of what happens in Happy Valley.
That's you know what, Rico, no disrespect, but I think you're focused on the wrong stuff. See, I'm not done with Saturday. And I'm not done with the things you said Saturday. Saturday was a program loss. And for all the goodwill that Mel Tucker's built up, let me tell you something. It's largely gone. That loss was a disgrace. That loss was Bobby Williams, John L. Smith, Muddy Waters, and any other failed regime they've had. That loss was a clown car. And you know what?
Cookies asked me, was it the worst loss ever? And I had to think about it. It was the biggest choke job under Mel Tucker. Minnesota was the worst. Because they were never in the game at home, it was embarrassing. You never had a shot. You should have been shut out. But this game, this biggest choke job under Mel Tucker, you were up 31-14, and that was Indiana on the other side. That wasn't like you were shocking Ohio State and you knew they would come back. Their quarterback completed 1 pass in regulation. I'm not exaggerating, people. 1 pass. You lost to that team. So, yes, Mike, you're right. That was the most disappointing, embarrassing loss. Yeah,
but it comes with a question. I mean, look, this is what I want from the audience. Right here, right now, what's your faith in Mel Tucker? Because Saturday, I'd be lying to you if I said it didn't take some of it away. I mean, the amount of coaching errors in that game, the lack of quality control, a performance like that on senior day. Man, look, nobody, look, Rico's point is taken. I get it. I don't want to watch this team play football anymore. I don't want to watch them Saturday. I don't want to see them go to some rat bowl they don't deserve. But that's not the point. The point is the whole thing could have been different. They played good ball over the last month. They didn't show their ass. They went on the road and got a ranked win. They turned their season around only to dump an embarrassing game at home on senior day. And I go, all right, people. Well, go ahead before I ask the question because you're chomping over here.
No, right, because you're right. Just make the layup and literally just make the extra point kick. This was all set up for you.
So did that affect your belief in Tuck? Yes or no?
Oh, yeah, because it does, Mike. Because I'm sitting here, we've talked about it, and I think this week we now see what happened when the end game finally caught up to him, and it didn't work. We questioned what happened at Illinois. We questioned what happened against Rutgers. And against Indiana, when all you had to do was one thing, you found a way to screw that up. So, yes, his end game strategy, I know people always say you need to hire an end-of-game coach.
No, I don't want to hear it.
Do you really have to do that? Because it's not that hard. It's not that difficult. It really isn't. Guys, either we're going to score a touchdown or we're going to kick a damn field goal. You can't do both. Pick one.
No, it's just.
And they were out there like, I don't know. Which one are we doing, coach? And they're just running plays, calling. Like, what the F are you doing? Kick the field goal and win. And if you don't trust him, run a play action pass. You know those guys with the number 6 and the number 9? They're on your team. They're tight ends. They can catch the ball. Throw it to him, Peyton Thorne.
248-539-9797. Straight up. I'm doing 2 segments on it. And then we're moving on to relevant football. But there's no way we're letting Saturday go without talking about it. There's no way we're going to whistle by the graveyard. If you're a Spartan, I need to know where you're at with this. Now, look, whether you like Mel Tucker or not, or whether you think he's the right guy for the job or not, he's here. Now, I still believe he's going to get something done. But Saturday was a big shot against that confidence because it can't happen, period.
No, it can't. Mike, it was the same way I felt when D'Antonio came out and says, yeah, I'm keeping all of my coaches. They're gonna have new jobs. No. What?
No, let me help you.
What?
Let me help you with something. Here, you want the headline for this? I want blood. Because I don't care who it is, and I don't care how many. Somebody on that coaching staff needs to go home and tell their wife the house is up for sale. Yeah. That's terrible to ask for someone to be fired. Well, you know what? I just did. Fire people. I don't care who it is. I don't claim to know everything. But that, as an overall, there's holes in the offense, holes in the defense. The special teams, I won't even dignify it by calling it special. Figure it out.
Yeah. You know what? It's kind of how we just call them Mark Watts now. No, those are just teams. There's nothing special about it.
It's a joke.
Those are just guys who go out there to kick the ball.
They pay their special teams coordinator $575,000 a year. They can't kick an extra point. You're fired. Mm-hmm. Have a good day. Right. That's the world I live in. You're
Mike,
fired.
How about this, Mike? You can barely even snap the ball off to get the kickoff. What are we doing?
I don't know. And that's why I have to do 2 segments on this. Yes, we have other relevant things to talk about, including Michigan, Ohio State, and the Big Ten, and we're getting to it. Believe me, there's a Wednesday show. There's a Friday show.
Yeah, how about this? Yeah, as far as special teams goes, Indiana can only do one thing well. That's kickoffs. So why you let them return the first one to the 50, and you let them take another one to the house. That's the only thing that Indiana can do. Put the ball in the back of the end zone and get a touchback. Nah.
I'm going to put it to this point. If he doesn't make some staff changes, it's going to swing the pendulum to pessimism for me.
Oh, no, absolutely. That's why I've held off and said I need to see what he does in December.
Yep.
Because if they don't go to a bowl game, that expedites the process, people. That means that you can go ahead and start trimming the fat right away and figure out what you're going to do and see who's open and who you can bring from another staff. Because, yeah, if he pulls the D'Antonio and everybody comes back, then the clock starts for Mel Tucker that day.
Yeah, I'm more in line with that than you realize. 248-539-9797. I want to hear from the people on it. You know, you're a Spartan fan. You bitch that we don't talk about them. Well, here you go. But if you think you're getting front page on a day like today, you're not. We're doing this now because this is my way of taking the recycling out. David, talk to me. You watched it from afar. I mean, it was a joke. We all know it. But go with the Tucker angle.
Yeah.
Like, let's get focused
you promised
here.
us. Yeah, you promised us they were going to win this game.
I did promise you that they were going to win that game because it was Indiana. They have won one Big Ten game in the last 2 years. Yes, I thought you were going to win that game.
Yeah.
But it is pathetic. It is very pathetic that you can't set your team up to kick a field goal. And you're right, Rico. If you know your kicker can't kick it, then have better offensive plays to set up a touchdown play, right? Run up the middle. Like, there was no play action. There was nothing.
But you're letting them off the hook. What is it with everybody? We all on laughy gas? They gave up a kick return for a TD. They gave up a 50-yard kick return. They gave up not you, I'm talking to David, an 80-yard touchdown. I don't want to focus just on the last 3 plays. It's asinine to even be in a game with those scumbags.
That's why I said, I'm sorry that I predicted.
Why did I just call Indiana scumbags? They're nice people. I hate Tom Allen.
No, Mike. A quarterback should not complete 2 passes for 31 yards?
Not unless it's
and
Tommy
he's on the
Frazier.
winning team. Right. Like they couldn't pass the ball and you still lost. Like no, you doubled them in every category but the score. You should feel embarrassed. You should I don't know how you bounce back from that because you did everything you were supposed to do to win. But you're right. You gave up a 50-yard. You start the game off giving up a 50-yard kickoff return. You know that they have it. Okay, Tucker says they fixed that. Apparently they didn't because then they took one to the house. Right after you went up 31-14, thinking you stuck a fork in them and they were done. Nah, wait a minute, guys. We're back. This is still a close game.
So is it open season on questioning Tuck? And I think it comes down to staff changes. I mean, I'm fine questioning him. He doesn't make any changes. You're going to hear a whole different tune from me. Because this isn't a quality I accept. And I don't care how much you get paid. He can get paid $4.5 million a year. It's not acceptable. For them to go 6-6 and to be able to beat Indiana at home and do what they need to do, it's a whole different thing. And you go, well, Mike, how can one game mean that much? The same way that in the NFL, if you lose the wrong game, you get fired. If you lose at the end of the year when a wild card's on the line and you're at home, you get clipped. That's how. It's fragile.
Yeah. Ask the Chargers about that.
Yes. Yes. 248-539-9797. Let's do the business, damn it.